If you're like most poker players I've spoke with, when you're grinding, you want to feel alert, focused, high energy, and switched on. You want to be making clear decisions and be fully engaged with what you're doing. You also want to be able to switch off from poker. When you're not grinding, you want to be enjoying yourself, relaxing, and not taking the stresses of poker into your personal life or into your free time. If that's what you want, if you're like the average poker player who I speak with, then you need to understand how to optimize your nervous system. All right? When it comes to performance and recovery as a poker player, you really need to understand how your nervous system is governing everything. All right? So we can think of the nervous system as a kind of signal and highway between the mind and body. All right? So everything we're trying to do with our mind and body is governed by the nervous system. A simple example, if I stretch my hand now, there's a signal being sent through my nervous system to the motor units in my hands for that hand to move. All right, I had a quick thought, move the hand, and the nervous system governs that action. All right, when it comes to performance at the poker tables, there's a very specific part of the nervous system that is governing everything we do. All right, it governs our ability to deal with pressure, to perform in high performance environments, to unwind after we've been playing, and everything that comes with performance at the poker tables. All right, and this part of the nervous system is called the autonomic nervous system. All right, it's part of a different part of the nervous system called the peripheral nervous system, but for simple terms, we're going to talk about the autonomic nervous system. All right, so this system is first of all in charge of keeping you safe. All right, so the autonomic nervous system is think of a subconscious system that's happening, is scanning our environment. All right, scanning our environment, and it's trying to figure out, is everything safe? Is there any threats? And is there anything I need to respond to? All right, now if everything's fine and nothing in your environment has triggered a response, all is well. And we stay in this very calm state and there's no kind of emergency signals. However, if the environment triggers our autonomic nervous system to say either threat or challenge, it will trigger a response in the body. All right, so how this works is it basically has two branches that can run from the autonomic nervous system, and one of them is called the survival branch, which is the fight or flight response. All right, and if that danger or threat signal is kind of triggered, then that sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, will get activated. All right, and this is when you feel heart rate starts to rise, you feel adrenaline through your body, cortisol elevates, and your body sends out lots of signals to activate your physiology to respond to the threat. All right, so we can see why this was very important during our hunter-gathering days when we had like lots of threats in our environment that could eat us or kill us, and we need to be ready, threat, mobilize energy in the body so that I can respond to this threat. We'll talk about why this is happening at the poker tables very soon, but we just need to know that in general, we're responding, our physiology is responding to perceived threats and challenges in our environment. All right, now this is a good thing. We need this function because it allows us to mobilize energy, be alert, be activated, and be ready for challenges as they come up. All right. However, we've then got another side of the nervous system, or the autonomic nervous system, called the parasympathetic nervous system, and this is kind of the recovery mode. All right. So once you've been activated in this fight or flight response, and we've been really high energy, it's then very important for our system to switch off, to unwind. All right, and turn on this parasympathetic nervous system, which is about rest, recovery. It's about lowering heart rate, lowering breathing, and everything's in this kind of relaxed state so you can recover from the stress you've taken on. All right, so in an ideal world, if you think about hunter-gathering days again, you'd say, all right, saber-toothed tiger, activate all the physiology of the body, run away or fight and try and kill it, and then calm back down, turn on the parasympathetic nervous system, and everything relaxes. All right, so it's this on and off, on and off, and that's the way the system was designed to work. Now, let's fast forward to the poker tables and your performance, which is what you really care about. Now, poker can trigger this threat response over and over, right? There's many different things that happen at the poker tables that cause us to be activated. And like I said, the system functions best when it's on in short amounts and then turned off. If it's always on, it creates this anxiety, this burnout almost of the systems, because there's no time to recover. So one of the challenges of being a poker player is that our environment has the potential to constantly trigger this stress response. We can constantly be activated and over-exert ourselves based on how we're interacting with our environment. So a few examples. I'm losing money. You're losing money at the tables, you have a bad session, things aren't going your way. All right? in a kind of zoomed out vision, we can just go, right, well, it's just money, it's not a big deal. But in terms of like the primal nature of the body, how it's responding, resources are at risk. My valuable resources are at risk. Threat, danger, press that button, all right? So we're responding to losing money because our physiology, our nervous system thinks that resources are at risk, which they are, all right? Another one is, I'm being exploited, all right? So think of an opponent is exploiting you with this strategy, all right? Although it's just a poker game, this gets taken very literally by the body, and it thinks, I'm under attack. This guy's coming to get me. When you're under attack, what should you do? Mobilize energy, get ready to fight, or get ready to flee. All right, so when this, again, primal physical response to an opponent exploiting your strategy at the tables. Another one is being made to look stupid. Let's say you bluff catch your opponent, and he shows you the nuts. All right, just a poker hand, but now, in terms of the nervous system, your ego's been threatened. Your identity's been threatened. You look stupid. You feel like your survival is at risk because you've been made to look stupid. Right, so it's threatened your ego and your self-concept of being good at poker. Another one, my opponent is pushing me around. All right, someone has been exploited, but let's say you're playing an aggressive opponent and he's always going after you. He's always 3-betting. He's always 4-betting you. All right, now it's like, all right, this guy's coming after me. Again, danger, under attack. Best get ready to fight back because this is a threatening situation. I don't know how to exploit play the spot. All right, you're in a spot that says a turn or river, and you don't know what to do. Now it's unfamiliar. Unfamiliar again can trigger this threat response because if you don't know how to respond to an unfamiliar scenario, could be dangerous. Could be something that's something lurking in the shadows that is threatening for you. And finally, I might make a mistake. All right, you might do something that causes a mistake. Unpredictable. Unpredictable again. It creates this unknown challenge threat response that the body needs to respond to. All right, so all of these situations as a poker player can be triggering you to be highly activated. So have a think about when you're playing poker, what is your physiology doing? All right, and you'll find a lot of the time you're responding to threats. Your body's very activated. You're highly stressed and you're feeling high heart rate, cortisol, adrenaline, all the stress response going through your body because of how you're interacting with your environment. Now, the body has an amazing system inbuilt that allows us to deal with stresses in an effective way. And it's called the stress, recovery, and adaptation system. So as I've just been telling you guys, the stress part of the system is when we're activated. So it's when the body responds to a stressor. So first of all, we're in an environment where we're responding to the stressors. Once we've done that and the stress is gone, the perceived danger is over, we then need to go into a recovery system. All right, the recovery system is the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's when we wind things down and allow ourselves to recover. If we do that right, not only do we get back to our baseline, but we actually adapt to a higher level, all right? We have the stress, we have the recovery, and we adapt so we're now above our baseline. So think you're here, at this one point, your baseline, the stress takes you down, the recovery takes you back to even, and slightly above for the adaptation. All right, so if we get this right, if we're able to manage the kind of stress and recovery in our environment, we're able to not only manage stress, but actually get stronger from stress. All right, a good example of this, or how to visualize this, is you go to the gym. You go to the gym, you have a certain level of strength when you go to the gym, or a certain amount of muscle, whichever way you look at it, and then you do some workouts. Let's say you're doing bench press, pushing bench press. If you take on enough stress, you will leave the gym in a worse state than what you started at. All right, you leave the gym, your body's all sore, you've broken down all the muscle fibers, and you've taken on a stress that knocks you below your baseline. However, if you have a good diet, you sleep well, over the coming days, your body will recover, it will regenerate the broken down cells, and it will actually grow back stronger. You'll actually be stronger with more muscle mass than you were before that session. So you're now adapted to that stress in a positive way, and you're actually a better version of yourself for taking on that stress. All right, so we can think of this stress as being adaptive when this goes right. So we've got the stress, recovery, adaptation going right. However, when we're taking on too much stress, or we're in a prolonged state of stress for too long, and our body's not getting enough recovery, stress very quickly becomes maladaptive. And maladaptive means every new stress we take on sends us further and further down. I'm sure you guys can relate to certain sessions you play where you almost feel tilted before you start. A little thing annoys you, and you're like, oh, this guy again, and you just almost tilt them before you've started. This is because you haven't adapted well to the stress you're taking on, and it's become very quickly maladaptive, and your performance starts to decrease and decrease and decrease. All right, so the key I'm trying to get across to you guys in this video is that we need to learn to be switched on and activated at certain times, but then we also need to prioritize recovery and turn on this parasympathetic nervous system to balance this system. If we get it right, we can take on more stress over time and we'll become stronger from that. All right, the stress of playing poker will make you more resilient, will make you be able to take on more challenges going forward. But if you go too far and you don't incorporate enough recovery, very quickly it's going to become a negative response. Unfortunately, the average poker player is stuck in a sympathetic, overactivated loop. They wake up in the morning and they turn on their beta brainwaves, which has their mind very active, jumping from thought to thought, moving from task to task. They check their phone, they grab a coffee, they jump onto the computer and start a grinding session. Their mind is hijacked with constant threats in their environment, stress is building and building as they're playing. They then finish their session, jump on their computer, and unload more stimulus that creates more and more stimulation. They struggle to switch off from poker and they spend their free time on their phones or on their computers until they fall asleep. Some players can't even fall asleep and they'll have their laptop or phone in bed until they switch off. The only time they actually get some parasympathetic recovery is when they sleep. And that sleep is low quality. They're generally struggling to get recovery and they wake up tired. They don't get that restorative sleep and they wake up fatigued before they've even begun. Alright, so here are some of the warning signs for you if you're relating to some of this and you think, shit, I'm the guy who's overly stressed. Here are some of the warning signs that you could be stuck in this kind of sympathetic loop. First of all, you feel agitated or rushed before your session. Maybe early in your day, you wake up and you're instantly starting to feel that agitation and rush. You feel frustrated easily when losing. A couple of bad beats make you feel that agitation. You are making sloppy mistakes you don't usually make, mistakes you wouldn't make if you're feeling sharp. You struggle to stay focused, your attention's wavering, you can't get your mind to stay where you want it to. You can't switch off after sessions. You finish a session but you're ruminating over hands, or you're agitated or frustrated and taking emotions into your free time. And you wake up feeling tired rather than energized. Alright, if any of those are related to you, there's a very good chance you're not recovering well. Alright, and you're actually diminishing your performance in a major way by being stuck in this overactivation. Alright, so in terms of how it affects performance, you're going to have the inability to focus. It's going to cause a lack of emotional resilience. You're going to be very prone to tilt. You're going to have difficulty problem solving. Pretty big deal as a poker player. You're going to have trouble delaying gratification. This will be impulsive behaviors when it comes to calling bets down, being aggressive against opponents, impulsive behavior on food, sleep, pornography, or everything that's impulsive. Burnout and performance will crash. You'll have points where you hit a wall. You can't be bothered to get out of bed one day, you skip a grind session because you're starting to burn out. Alright, now before technologies were invented, before we had phones and computers and everything, it was much easier to have a kind of divide in our day. We generally work for most of the day, and then in the evening time, we'd switch off. The sun would go down, we'd catch the natural light change in our environments, and we'd switch off, and we'd naturally go into a more relaxed state. But now, we just jump on our phones, we jump on devices, we eat crappy foods that hijack our system as well, and we're constantly stimulating ourselves, which is basically keeping us stuck in this activated state. So, what do we do? Alright, I've created a lot of problems so far in this video, but now I want to talk about what we can do. Alright, so the high performer's dilemma, as I like to call it, is that we want to achieve a lot in life. We want to get more done. We want to read more, learn more, study more, grind more, do more, and be more, which is awesome. I applaud all of you guys who are the overachievers who want to do more. However, we also need to realize we're not robots, and we need to create some slack in the system and almost deliberately allow ourselves time to switch off from being activated so that we can recover. Imagine it's almost like a runner, right? Like a sprinter. Imagine a sprinter, someone like Usain Bolt. If he runs 100 meters flat out, all right? Maybe say 200 meters, he's really good at 200 meters. Let's say he does 200 meters flat out, all right? If he stops at 200 meters and we give him some time to recover, he could probably run another 200 meters very, very quickly, very close to what he just ran, within like 10-15 minutes. All right, give him a bit of recovery and he could run again. All right, so you need to go intensely and then recover. Go intensely and recover. If we tell Usain Bolt to keep his 200 meter time going for 400 meters, 600 meters, 800 meters, a mile, we soon realize, well, of course you can't do that. You can't just sprint all out with no recovery and expect to keep the same pace. However, when it comes to our performance in cognitive pursuits and in life, we think we can. We think we just be on the whole time. Go, go, go. Most players I speak with, almost all the top players I speak with actually, they want to do more. All right, it's never about how do I fit in more recovery? How do I look after myself better? How do I switch off more? It's almost always, how do I get more of my days? All right, so with that being the pretense, we're gonna go, right, wait a second, perhaps if you wanna get more done and get more out of yourself, we actually need to approach it the inverse way. And we need to actually hit the brake rather than hitting the gas. All right, so think of the sympathetic nervous system, gas, 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 accelerator, whereas the parasympathetic is the brake. All right, we need that blend in between. We need to be able to accelerate when we want to, but also slow down and brake. All right, so this was hammered home to me big time in 2013, which was the first year I went for Supernova Elite. I remember I saw a player in my format who had been playing $100 heads of sit and goes, and he had hit Supernova Elite the year before. I was playing average stake $300, kind of 100, 200, 300, pretty average stake, 200 actually. And I thought, oh, wait a second, if this guy did it, why can't I? So I naively, in January 2013, signed up to pursue Supernova Elite. So when I broke it down, it worked out I had to play roughly 5,000 games a month, which would take about 8 to 10 hours of grinding, 6 days a week. All right, so pretty relentless pace. Now, January had a good New Year's resolution. I was like, right, this is the year I smash it, crush the volume. So I was pretty enthusiastic and excited to go for it. So the first few months were easy. Very easy. I'm not gonna lie, I just was very motivated and I just grinded until my eyes were sore. All right, I would just play 12 hours, sometimes 15 hours. I was just playing non-stop. All right, and it got to about the end of March when I realized, holy shit, I can't keep this up. I was ahead of schedule, just a little bit, but I realized there's no way in hell I can do this for another 9 months. All right, and I remember having all these conflicting thoughts where I was like, I'm gonna be one of those guys who quits on it. I'm gonna be one of those losers who says he's gonna do something, but it gets too hard and he throws in the towel. And I remember this conflict going, this is really gonna burn me out if I keep doing this, but at the same time, I really want to achieve this. So I had to really spend some time thinking, is it possible to achieve Supernova Elite a different way? Can I approach it in a more balanced way that allows me to hit the goal, but not killing myself? All right, so the first thing I did is I went, wait a second, I'm playing poker around the clock. I have no downtime. I can't remember my last day off at this point, and my schedule, though it had a set structure, it just creeped into my whole day. Almost my whole day, I was playing poker throughout it. All right, so the first thing I did is I said, okay, Adam, you can only play poker during these specific hours. Like I had a 10-hour block, I could play poker in these 10 hours, and the other 14 hours, those of that was sleep, was free. All right, so for me, I was in Bali at the time, on a crazy sleep schedule, so I was grinding from 2 a.m. till 12 noon. All right, 2 a.m. to 12 noon, and then at 12, I created a complete space where I couldn't grind. Now this was amazing because it allowed me to have a switch off time from poker. I generally go to the gym, go for lunch, go to the beach, and I basically had almost like 2 lives. One was this real hardcore grinding, and the other was free time, fun, switch off. And I remember just going, when I'm after 12 o'clock, no poker whatsoever. And at first it took a while because my mind was racing with kind of poker thoughts, but over a few weeks I was like, I can switch off. And when I started to do that, I realized the following day, I felt motivated again. I felt recharged. I felt ready to go. So I created this rhythm of intensity and then recovery. All right. Now I didn't realize this at the time. I had no clue what the nervous system was or what I was doing. But what I was doing is I was being very sympathetically activated, and then I was creating this parasympathetic rest and recovery time that would allow my nervous system to recover so I could go again the next day. All right. So I kind of subconsciously or somehow stumbled into this for myself, and this went great. All right, and the rest of the year, it was still very challenging. I was still pushing myself harder than I would want to. Supernova Elite volume, if anyone ever did that, is quite brutal. But at the same time, I was in control. I didn't burn out. I didn't get ill. I didn't feel like my eyes were burning as I was playing, and I had free time to do other things. All right, I also took a day off once a week, or at least every 2 weeks. I was a bit of a workaholic, so not every week. But yeah, that created this rhythm where I could work hard, but also recover. All right, now this part of my life really showed me the importance of, if you're pushing hard, if you're straining yourself and stretching yourself, you need to balance that with recovery activities. You need to look after the recovery part. It's like a seesaw. Intensity, recovery. You need to get those in sync. If intensity is too high for too long, honestly, you're going to burn out. You're going to crash. There's the amount of ambitious poker players I've worked with who've told me, nah, Adam, you're wrong. I don't need recovery. Nah, I get 5 hours sleep. Nah, I'm fine. I'm a workaholic. I can do 15-hour days, no problem. I don't burn out. Every single one of those people who speaks to me like that, I check in with them over a few months, and almost always they burn. By that, they have a week, they get ill for a week. Like they have 2 weeks off where they're like, couldn't do it for 2 weeks because this thing happens. There's always something where the body goes, if you don't put a brake on, at some point the body goes, emergency stop. Emergency stop, all right? And if you don't prioritize recovery, generally performance will suffer in the short term, but if you've got the willpower to push through that, you'll crash and burn. The body will get ill or you'll hit a burnout, all right? So what can we do to get back in balance, all right? So the way to look at it is, how can I, if I'm someone who's overly activated, all right, so the activation kind of comes for free, how do I incorporate more recovery into my days? All right, so the first thing, no shocks, is sleep. It really is sleep, all right? And you've got to prioritize, in my opinion, 7 to 9 hours. If you're someone who's doing a lot of physical activity, like a high amount of physical activity, or you're taking on a lot of stress, 8 to 9 hours is what you want to be aiming for, all right? And the key is, to understand is, do you wake up feeling fresh in the morning? You should wake up feeling fresh in the morning. If you don't, sleep's a problem, all right? So enough time in bed, but also quality sleep, all right? I'll talk more about tracking sleep in a second, but good quality sleep every single night. I've been tracking my sleep every day for 4 years now. It's amazing how much it just controls all areas of performance, whether it's cognitive, whether it's athletic, whether it's just how you feel in yourself. Sleep is the number one, all right? Other things that are really important to calm the nervous system are breathing exercises, all right? So this could be meditation, a 10 to 15 minute meditation practice where you slow your breathing down. Basically, when you inhale, that's the sympathetic, so activation, and when you exhale, that's the parasympathetic, all right? So imagine inhale, accelerator, exhale, brake, all right? So anytime we slow our breathing down and we exhale a bit more than we inhale, we naturally put the brake on. In terms of the nervous system goes sympathetic, parasympathetic, and it starts to edge towards the parasympathetic. All right, so it's I can relax, I can calm. All right, so meditation, yoga, deep diaphragm breathing, where you're basically breathing into your diaphragm, feeling it expands, go down again. All this is just basically taking back control of the breathing system, which relays a signal to the nervous system. Everything's okay, no threats. We can calm down. And think about that, right? Think when you're anxious, if let's say you are in a fight with somebody, breathing is really hyperventilating, right? You're like, because your signaling from your body is, I need to respond to this. I need more blood flow. I need more oxygen going to the brain. However, when you calm the breathing down, if your environment's freaking out, everything's going crazy around you. If you calm your breathing down, you get a signal to your nervous system. It's all good. It's all good. Imagine everything's going crazy around you, but you've got nice calm breathing. All of a sudden the mind's like, everything's going crazy, but my breathing's good. We must be okay. Everything's all right. All right, so that the breathing is a very, very powerful tool. Next thing, time outdoors. Don't underrate how important time outdoors is, especially morning sunlight, getting some kind of serotonin from sun exposure. But time outdoors in general, the amount of poker players I've spoke with who go weeks without being outdoors is quite scary. All right, I didn't realize how many players lock themselves away, especially online grinders who play high volume, can go days without seeing sunlight, which is crazy. Every single day, I think 30 minutes of outdoor activity should be needed, all right? Ideally early in your day to get in sync with your circadian rhythm. Maybe that's another video we can do. Next one, walks in nature. If you're stressed out after a session, I know a lot of MTT players, especially high stakes guys, will finish their grind at like 3, 4 in the morning and then go for a walk around the block. Great idea, because you're literally putting yourself into a calmer state. The mind's going to be active, replaying poker hands, and you consciously go for a walk, which puts you into this calm parasympathetic state. Reading, again, read a nice book, as long as it's not too activating, whichever you read in. Listening to calming music, or any music you find relaxing. Spending time with friends and loved ones, any sort of social connection, amazing for the nervous system just to relax and calm down. Getting a massage, maybe you do once a week, treat yourself to relax the muscles and relax yourself. And then engaging in hobbies that you enjoy. Right? Even like playing sports, things that aren't too physically activating can be a way of lowering your activation. Alright, now if you want to make this more practical and you want to go, right, Adam, sounds great, but to be honest, I don't really know where I'm at in terms of how I'm managing my stress, I highly recommend getting a tracker that will record and track your HRV. Alright, so your HRV is your heart rate variability, and this is the time between heartbeats. Alright, so my heart's beating now. There's an interval between each heartbeat, which is recorded as your heart rate variability. So a little bit counterintuitively, we want this number to be high. We want a lot of variability between our heart rates, which means the heart's very strong, it's recovering from stress, and it's able to basically go high and low very quickly. All right, you want your heart to be able to go 180 beats a minute and then to 50. All right, you want to be at a high range. All right, so heart rate variability tells us how well we're responding to the stress in our environment. This is physical stress, mental stress, it's sleep, it's diet, it's everything. All right, so I record mine, use a Whoop tracker. This is a record sleep, recovery scores, and it's designed for athletes in all honesty, but it's really, really good if you're somebody who wants to know how well am I currently responding to all the stress I'm taking on? When you're playing poker, when you're in the gym, when you're having arguments, everything affects it. All right, you'll find sometimes you've done nothing physically, we've had a stressful day, and your HRV tanks. All right, which means you're not responding well. All right, so I've been, like I said, I've been tracking this for 4 years now. I actually got it as a birthday present in 2018, I think it was. And yeah, I've been tracking my sleep like every single day from this, and the amount of data I've gained on it has been huge. It's allowed me to incorporate a lot more recovery. Before I did this, I actually was quite bad at switching off, in all honesty, compared to what I am now. But because I have the data, now optimizing HRV, optimizing recovery allows your nervous system to respond, so that when you want to be activated, you want to do something all out, whether it's a gym workout or a high stakes poker session, you're ready to do it. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know the main takeaways in the bottom. I know it's been a long one. Hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, look forward to seeing you in the next video.